Hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to start a new project with Papyrus-Web. I'll illustrate this video with a class diagram and a communication diagram. And don't forget, you can try this yourself in our Papyrus-Web sandbox at www.papyrus-web.fr. For this video, I will use the online bookshop example found on the website uml-diagrams.org. I would like to thank the author of the website who granted me permission to reproduce its model in this video. On this slide, you can see the model we will reproduce. This is an example of a UML communication diagram. This diagram is mainly composed with 6 lifelines represented by rectangular shapes and 1 stickman. Each of these lifelines references a UML property via its represents field. In turn, each property is typed. We see these types in the labels book, customer, order, and so on. The connection between the nodes are UML messages. The label displayed on this link represents the operation used as the message signatures. The other elements visible in the diagram, like guard and multiplicities, won't be reproduced in this video. Let me guide you through the steps to create the online bookshop example. We'll follow this plan. First, we'll create a new project. Then, we'll define the types using the class diagram. Next, we'll add the lifeline in the communication diagram. After that, we'll set up the operation in the class diagram. We'll then add the messages in the communication diagram. Finally, we'll wrap up with some tips and conclusion. From the home page, click on New UML Project. Here, I name it Online Shopping Example. Once it's done, click on Create Project. The workbench appears. From this point on, I've included a snapshot of the initial diagram, which will be reproduced in all other screens of the video. On the Explorer, start by expanding the root, then click on the 3 vertical dot and select New Representation. Here, select a class diagram and name it, for example, Types Definition Diagram. Then click on Create. In this diagram, we will create the 6 types we need to create your communication diagram. So, right-click, select Node, and New Class. This first class, name it Bookshop. You can press F2 to edit it, or another way to edit, after the class creation, like this, you can select it and go into the Details view. This second class, I will name it Customer, and I continue with the Inventory, Order, Book, and to conclude, Shopping Cart. Now we can proceed by creating the communication diagram. Return to the Explorer, select the 3 vertical dots near the model element, and choose New Representation. Select Communication Diagram and create it. As you can see, the required interaction is automatically generated when the diagram is created. Select the interaction, do a right-click, then select Node and create a first lifeline. I will continue by creating the 6 required lifeline. It's done. At this point, each lifeline figure displays the lifeline names, because they do not yet represent a property. This will change in a few seconds. I will show you two ways to edit the represents field. The first method involves selecting the lifeline, then from the details view, edit the represents field by creating a new property within the interaction. Now I can select the property, and still in the details view I can edit its name. Here for the first one I will take B for bookshop, and I edit its type to select bookshop. Now the lifelines label shows the value of the represents field. Now let me show you the second method for editing this field. We've designed a specific approach. Select the type in the Explorer and drag it onto the target lifeline. For this example, I'll assign the customer type to the lifeline. As you can see, the property is automatically created and linked to the lifeline. We just need to edit its name. To do this, I propose you to select the property directly in the Explorer in order to show its details view and make the change. Now the property is named C. Now let's proceed with the other lifeline. I take inventory for lifeline 3. E for inventory. I continue with order for lifeline 4. Then I take book. And I finish with shopping cart for the last lifeline. At this point, I return to the class diagram to create operation within the types. As you can see, a class is divided into 4 compartments. Each compartment is designed to display a specific feature of the class. The first compartment shows elements from the owned attribute feature, which are the UML properties. The second compartment displays the owned operation feature. The third compartment displays the owned reception feature, and the fourth compartment displays the nested classifier features. There are two ways to create an operation. You can create one directly by right-clicking on the class. In this case, a pop-up menu will appear offering 3 options: property, operation, and reception, as shown below. Here we select the operation. Alternatively, you can select the second compartment, like this, to create an operation, like this. Now I will proceed to create all the required operations for our model. So in Bookshop, we need to create a first operation called checkout. The second operation in Bookshop is called find book. I sped up the video for the creation of the other operations. I'm going back to the communication diagram. I've already adjusted it to have more space for displaying the messages. Now, we need to create the messages between the lifelines. In Papyrus-Web, to create a link between two nodes, you first select the source node, then click on one of the four displayed arrows and drag the cursor to the target node. When several types of connection are possible, a pop-up menu will appear, listing the available edge types. In the current case, only a message is possible, which is why there is nothing to select. Once the message is created, I need to go in the detail view to edit its signature and its name. For this first message, I select the Find Book operation in the bookshop type. In addition, I also rename the message to be consistent with its signature. Next, I'll process the remaining message using the same approach. I've speeded up the video here to save time. Now it's done. Here's the final result. Before we finish, I would like to show you two tips for changing the appearance of the diagram. First, you can change the routing style of the edges. While a rectilinear approach is often preferred, the example we reproduced uses the oblique style. Just select any message and change its routing from Manhattan to oblique. So select the message, go into the appearance menu, find the edge type and select oblique like this. I do it for all messages. I have a second tip to propose you. Papyrus-Web allows you to display an image inside a node. Here, I suggest setting a sticker man for the customer as shown in the example. To do this, select the node, then go in the detail view, select the symbol tab, and import your image, like this. Once imported, the image is saved in the database, but not yet assigned to the node. You still need to select it to apply it to the figure, like this. Now, it's time to conclude. We have successfully recreated a communication diagram matching the selected example. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget, you can try everything we covered in our Papyrus-Web sandbox at www.papyrus-web.fr. Thank you for watching and see you next time.